welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy Update. How is everyone? It's been a little bit. It feels, even though it's been like a week in between these, maybe even a couple of days, it feels like lifetimes are passing. It really feels like we're going through that much of a shift, that much of a transformation, that much of an upgrade. It really feels like in the span of a month, we go through a year's worth of growth. And it's a little bit discombobulating at times. It's a little bit, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, a lot of uncertainty in our energy. And a lot of it is about getting comfortable with that, getting comfortable with the uncertainty, getting comfortable with the not knowing, and just being in that place of surrender, being. That seems to be the key word. Before we get into the reading today, I want to share a little bit about my own experiences, and that you might be experiencing the same thing, same phenomena, the same, ascension symptoms, the same experiences. Just might look a little bit different on the surface, but energetically, obviously we are collective. So what I've been experiencing is the past couple of weeks is definitely, well, maybe even past couple of months, is definitely some kind of a shift. It feels like on the brink of another consciousness shift. It feels like the Divine Feminine is going through, I don't want to say another ascension. She's been through her ascension, but it's a constant evolution. It's a constant growth. It's a constant up-leveling, right? And, even in this, what I like to call higher heart ascension, which is the next phase of your journey, you've been through the crux of your healing, and now the higher heart ascension is all about the embodiment. And it feels like we're leveling up in that embodiment. We've reached one phase of that, and now we're going through another consciousness shift to keep leveling up in that growth, in that level of consciousness, that level of awareness, that level of embodiment. Who are we? Who do we want to be? What is it that we want our reality to look like? What is it that we believe? Shifting out those old beliefs, still doing that, what I call the excavation. Diving deep into those old wounds, those core wounds, layers and layers and layers. This is a very multi-layered journey. It's not just one thing that we heal. When we pull one thread of our healing, there's a lot that comes out from that. It's like that thread is like it unwinds. What's that Weezer song? If you want to something my sweater, just pull the thread, and something like that. It reminds me of that Weezer song, because I'm just seeing a pulling of a thread, and it's like it's not just one thread. It's like the one thread untangles so many beliefs, so many patterns, so many programs that we don't even know are running. And so I feel like personally I'm in the middle of a consciousness shift. You may experience yourself in the middle of a consciousness shift as well, but what's different from this is I'm feeling called to just be. Again, that word being. Rather than actively trying to figure it out, what am I shifting consciously? What are my beliefs? What is this? What is that? It's unfolding. It's a natural unfolding that's happening, and I'm being guided to just go where I'm guided. It's a book, perhaps, that I read a couple of lines on, and it hits, or it's a coaching call that something resonates, or it's just something in my own experience that I begin to see the unraveling. And when I say the word unraveling, it's not an undoing. It's not like an existential crisis, although it could feel like that at times. It's more of a consciousness shift. I don't know how else to put it. It's a shift in perspective around not just the world, but around yourself, your identity. Who do you want to be? Who are you? And it's that bridge between who are you as human and that human expression of yourself, and who are you as soul, and being the bridge between the two. That's what we're doing in our ascension journey, is we are becoming the physical bridge of all that is spiritual, all that is energetic, all that we know underneath the surface that exists, all of the universe that exists within us. We are that bridge, and we're recognizing that bridge. And I feel like this consciousness shift is like a leveling up in that, to really bring home the fact that you are the creator of your reality, and not just the creator of your reality, but your decisions, your personal empowerment, your sovereignty, to really bring that home. There might be some physical changes in your world that look like an up-leveling. It could be a change in career. It could be a change in finances. It could be a change in location, environment, something like that. But we had channeled this previously, you're really beginning to see the physical manifestations of the embodied soul that you have claimed. The personal sovereignty that you have stepped into, you're really beginning to see the physical manifestations of this. Especially, I want to speak directly to the divine feminines who might be experiencing this. But in the meantime, it might feel like you're in a little bit of an in-between. Again, it might feel like you're in a void. However, this void is very different than in the past. The void doesn't feel like it's lacking anything. The void, it's a, what's the word? Stasis. That's what it feels like. It feels like you might be in a little bit of a period of stasis. And I personally felt this back in the winter time where I was just resting a lot. I was just kind of shut down. It wasn't numbed out. There's a very different energy there between feeling numbed out and feeling shut down. What I was doing was I was reading a lot. I was watching a lot of movies, I was resting a lot, and I was still plugging away at my work, but I wasn't as motivated, and so I wasn't as productive. And then I passed into springtime, and that motivation kind of came back, that fiery energy came back. And I was extremely productive. But the past couple of weeks, well, really the past couple of days, again, it's almost like I've been called to just be again and surrender into that being. For example, I just spent maybe a half hour, 45 minutes on the bathroom floor with my cat and just not doing anything. I didn't have my phone near me. I didn't have emails near me. I didn't have anything near me. It was just being present with my cat and allowing myself just to play with him and just to cuddle with him and literally just staring at the bathroom cabinets in front of me and just being. I've been sleeping a lot. I've been resting a lot. When I try to do meditations, I just fall asleep. And there are solar flares that are going on. We're having a huge solar storm right now. So that could be, why we're feeling this energetic kind of lag or this energetic stasis. But what they brought to me as I was asking about this was that it's like an upgrade, and they showed me a computer screen, like a phone screen or a computer screen. When your computer's going through an upgrade and everything turns like black or blue except for that little monitor saying like 15%, 20%, 25%, like it's upgrading. It doesn't look like anything's happening on the surface, but underneath there's an upgrade that's happening to your operating system. That's exactly what is happening with us. It's, even though it doesn't look like we're doing much of anything, there's an upgrade happening to our operating system, and we're being called to kind of shut down as a result of that, because of that. So even if it doesn't look like we're doing much of anything, even if it looks like we're sleeping a lot or we're resting a lot, we might be having physical symptoms like wanting to eat too much or not wanting to eat at all. I have no appetite at all for the past couple of days, to the point where I even reached out to my naturopath to inquire, is this something that needs to be concerned, or am I going through like an energetic upgrade? But because I haven't experienced that in a very long time, but it's energy. It's all energy that we're feeling, and when I tune into my own intuition, I can feel it is an energetic upgrade. And I don't know what that's about. And that's where we have to sit in the uncertainty. What's the result of that? So this is the cause, we're going through this upgrade, but what's the effect of that? And that's where we're kind of in this place of surrender and faith, and we're called to have faith, and we're called to have surrender. For me personally, I've been called to really keep connecting with God's source, higher power, whatever it is that you want to call it, the universe, to keep connecting to that God source energy, even if I don't feel connected within myself. Called to ground, called to breathe, breath work, called to just kind of keep going back to the basics, and to allow myself to sit in this being and be comfortable in this being, be comfortable in this surrender, because it's not going to last for long. But it is a call for the energy to upgrade. What does that upgrade look like? Well, I guess we're going to find out together today. What does that mean? What is it? What are we called to do? And again, called to do nothing but just be. And on the surface, you might still be, plugging away at your business or at work. You might still be kind of feel like you're going through the routine. But it feels it almost feels a little bit flighty, like you're here and you're not there, you're here and you're elsewhere, and that's because you are, and that's where the grounding is going to come into being. I actually yesterday, I just went outside into my backyard and hugged a tree and spent 20 minutes hugging that tree, and I could feel the energy of that tree just kind of wrapping around me and saying, it's okay, like I'm here. And it was like a beautiful exchange when you consider what it is that you bring to the tree, your breath, right, or your exhalation, and then you breathe in, the tree offers you that oxygen. So it's a beautiful energy exchange, but also the grounding of that, allowing myself to put my hand on the trunk of that tree and be very present, and imagining the roots of that tree and how deep they go into the earth and how connected we are to the earth. That allowed me for some grounding when I felt very flighty, when I felt very ungrounded, and very present, but not in a connected way. And so it helped me to connect back to myself, but still in this place of being, in this place of surrender, in this place of stasis. That's what it feels like. It feels very, they're showing me the hanged man. So it feels very hanged man energy. But it's not a stuck feeling, and it's not a stagnant feeling. It's just a feeling of okay, things are going to pick up again, but you're going through an upgrade. And again, this upgrade is a consciousness shift. So it depends on where you are in your journey, what is actually shifting with that consciousness shift. But it's more of that becoming. It's more of that embodiment. It's more of that recognition of, again, that balance of the bridge. You are the bridge, being the human in spiritual nature, or I should say, being spiritual in human form, in physical form, and recognizing that is your playground. Essentially, that is where you get to create, and recognizing your ability to create. So and playing with those manifestations too. So it's very interesting what I'm receiving right now. I definitely feel like there's a lot of ancestral support around us. A lot of us are, as we're doing this, as we're going through this upgrade and consciousness shift, we are breaking more and more of those ancestral curses, so to speak. We are healing ancestral wounds. I'm seeing it going back through timelines, through our ancestry. It definitely feels like this is a major consciousness shift that is going to extend and ripple out into everything we do and affect everyone that we interact with. Our job is to take all the tools and all the resources that we have learned on this journey and to really embody them, to be responsive, not reactive, to pause, to be present, to be surrendered, to not feed into fear or anxiety. I've also taken a step back from social media, which is amazing for my mental health. To not give in, because everybody has a voice, which is beautiful, but when we tune into all those voices, we can lose sight of our own, right? We can lose sight of ourselves. And so to allow yourself to listen to your intuition, to allow yourself to tune into yourself, to allow yourself to connect back to yourself and your connection, your personal connection to God's source. So there's a lot that's happening right now for you divine feminines, and it's fascinating that you guys really resonate with the last reading. Thank you guys so much for all those comments and letting me know where you are, letting me know how it's resonating for you. That's very helpful for me as a reader. There's comments to let me know where you are in your journey, because we really are going through a collective ascension, a collective awakening, and everybody's path might look a little bit different, but it is, energetically, we are part of the journey together. So there's a lot that's happening right now. I'm going to start with the divine feminine. We're going to look at the divine masculine, divine feminine union energies as usual, but I'm going to start with the divine feminine because I want to see really what is she going through, because this really feels like an anchoring in of that union. And I feel like we are both anchoring in the masculine. You might be working through safety, security, really embodying that safety and security within yourself, that presence within yourself, which is all masculine energy, but you're doing it from a divine feminine standpoint of being, trusting, letting your intuition guide you, and that's your inner union. So I feel like there's a lot of inner union energies that are at play right now for the divine feminine, and it's all about embodiment. Again, you have nothing spiritually without embodiment. You can be the most conscious, spiritually aware person in the world, but unless you are embodying that in your human experience, all the meditations, all the spiritual practices, all the healings, and I say this gently, I say this kindly, it doesn't mean anything unless you are embodying it. It is all about leadership by example. How are you walking the walk? How are you talking, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk? How are you embodying this in your everyday life? When you're with family, when you're with friends, when you're out to the grocery store, when you are, elsewhere, when you're out in the world. It is, I always say this, it is the easiest thing in the world. Maybe not the easiest, but it is easy to have a spiritual practice. It is easy to meditate and be in tune and connected when you're in your sacred space. But we're meant to carry that sacred space with us, within us, not just in a physical room, not just by an altar, but not just in the woods, but everywhere we go. We're meant to embody that sacred space within us. We're meant to embody that inner sanctuary within us, so that wherever we go and whoever we interact with, we are embodying that higher consciousness. We're embodying that love. We're embodying that compassion, that patience, that kindness. That is the Christ Sophia consciousness. That is the union of the Christ Sophia energy, the masculine and the feminine polarity in balance in that higher order. And so that's what we're doing, and I feel like that's what this upgrade is all about. So what I want to do is I want to get a card for each, but we're going to start with the Divine Feminine. And I got called to use the Unicorn deck today. Not quite sure why, but we're going to go with the flow of it. We're just going to surrender and keep going with the flow of it. Divine Feminine. Okay. What do we need to know for the Divine Feminine? What do we need to know for the Divine Feminine? We have balance, yep, and we have magic, exactly. So this is exactly what we were talking about. That inner union is that balance, is that embodiment, and patience. This might be where we are, being asked just to sit, to be, to just reflect, to observe, to witness ourselves, to have that patience for ourselves. Again, it's the Hanged Man energy, but it's not stuck. It's not stagnant in that way. It's more of an energy of surrender. Rather than trying to fight ourselves, trying to shift our perspective, rather than trying to fight ourselves and move forward and free ourselves from anything that is keeping us stuck, their energy is always moving. We're never stuck for long. It just is our ego minds that makes us fear that the cycles that we're in are going to perpetuate. So we're being asked to have patience with the process. We're being asked to surrender. We're being asked to have faith and trust our guidance and trust where the universe itself is guiding us. As a feminine energy, we're not meant to be passive. Surrender is different than submission. Surrender is different than passivity. Feminine energy is more passive, yes, but passive in an energy of being, not passive as in an energy of not going to do anything. Feminine energy is receiving the guidance, and then your inner masculine energy is, okay, what do I want to do with this guidance? What action am I going to take on this guidance? You have both masculine and feminine energies within you, and the balance of the two, the inner union of the two is, okay, I'm receiving this inner guidance, feminine energy. I'm going to trust this inner guidance, feminine energy. I'm going to follow my intuition, feminine energy, and I'm going to take the next step forward, which is the masculine. How can I apply this logically, the masculine things? How can I take a step rationally while still following my intuition, while still trusting my gut? That is the ultimate balance. Taking that intuitive action. Intuitive action is the inner union. Because you're trusting your intuition, you're trusting where you're being guided, but you're still taking action on those steps. You're still applying rational thinking, you're still applying logic, but you're not circumventing the intuition for the logic. You're not replacing intuition with logic. You're trusting your intuition and then applying logic and rational thinking to the steps that you take from an active standpoint. And that's where you're having the patience. You're having the patience because you are beginning to embody that more. You're going to be guided, I'm hearing, way more. You're going to have more opportunities. You're going to be guided more. And you're going to be called to trust in that inner guidance, even if it doesn't make sense. And there might be a fear that's coming up for you with that, an uncertainty. because the logical mind, the egoic mind, likes sense, likes to make sense. You might be guided to move all of a sudden. You might be guided to switch careers. You might be guided to have a conversation. You might be guided to start a relationship or end a relationship. It doesn't have to be as drastic or as dramatic as all those sound. It can be something that is very subtle, but you're being guided, and our job is to trust the guidance. Writing my book, which I'll be revealing the title and cover on Friday, so stay tuned to all my social media. Writing my book was actually a really cathartic experience for me because it showed me my whole spiritual path and how whenever I trusted that inner guidance, which I've been doing my whole life, it brought miracles into my life. It brought magic into my life. And my life unfolded really beautifully. And that doesn't mean that I didn't go kicking and screaming all the time. I'm a very stubborn person, and I definitely resisted in places. But when I allowed myself to surrender, I can see how everything added up to where I am now. And it might not have been where I expected, but it's where I'm so grateful to be. Look back at your own life. Chart your own life. Create a timeline of your own life. You know, the big moments, the subtle moments where you've been guided. The places where you resisted and what happened when you actually surrendered to that resistance. What happened when you were in the state of being. When you had patience with your journey. When you had patience with yourself. When you had patience with other people. And the magic that was created from there. That's what you're being guided to do, to trust in the magic. Find the balance and trust in the magic. That is when everything manifests. That is when everything unfolds for you. It's because you're trusting and embodying that magic. It's not about, you'll reach a point in your journey where you don't have to vision board, where you don't have to do scripting or other manifestation techniques, because you're embodying that energy where manifestations just come naturally. And if you actually look back at your journey, either your ascension journey or your life journey, you will actually see how things manifested very organically, very naturally. It's all about the energy that you're holding. It's all about the embodiment. And that's the consciousness shift that you're going to break through. Just have patience with yourself right now, because that magic I feel is swirling around us. It's because of this inner union that is anchoring in. You're integrating and embodying the inner union. That magical energy is swirling around you. You are magic. You are magical. This world is magical. And as part of the world, as part of the universe itself, you yourself are magical. And that's what you're beginning to really understand. You're shifting any beliefs that says that you're not that. You really begin to anchor in and understand that this is who you are, this is who you've always been. It becomes more playful, it becomes more magical. You might have consciously understood this, but now you're really going to be integrating it. You're really going to be anchoring it in, you're really going to be embodying it. This is helpful for me because this is exactly what I've been struggling with. What is this consciousness shift? What am I being called to? This is really helpful for me because I'm feeling this energy myself. If you're experiencing what I'm experiencing, this is that next level. And again, we're always going to be moving into levels, but it's not about the next thing. It's about enjoying the here and now. That's where the magic is. It's about enjoying the presence. It's about enjoying the journey. It's not about reaching the next level of consciousness. It's about allowing yourself to surrender to the here and now so you can enjoy the here and now and what it is that you're creating here and now. Letting the here and now be your playground. Letting the presence be your playground. What is it that you're creating and building and manifesting right here and now? Being comfortable in that uncertainty while knowing that you're in the process of creating. You're always in the process of creating. You might not know what it is that you're creating, but that's the beauty of it. Look back. I always say look back, because in hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight is where we have a clear view. Look back at where you were and the seeds that you were planting then for what you've created now, for what you have now. That's what you're doing now. You're planting new seeds, you're creating, you're manifesting, but it's happening organically. It's happening because you are embodying the energy of who you want to be, who you want to become, the life you want to lead, whether that's material things, whether that's energetics, whether it's both. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want a new location, new environment, new house. I have some very exciting things that are manifesting that are blowing my mind. But it's because I'm in a place of creation. And it's not from it's a past version. 3 months ago, I began to manifest this. And all of a sudden, it's here. All of a sudden, it's being created. I'm not ready to share it yet because it's still in the process, but it's kind of incredible. It's kind of incredible to see what happens when you're very present with yourself, when you're in that state of balance, the magic that happens when you're in that state of balance because you're not forcing anything. It's that intuitive guidance. You're just guided to the next step. And the next step might blow your mind. You might be like, I never anticipated that. But that's where you're trusting your soul to guide you, because your soul holds the desire and you're manifesting from that place. So have patience with yourself. Have patience with this process. If you're in that state of stasis right now, allow yourself to sit in it. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to do what you're called to. Again, I was called to just sit on the bathroom floor and just snuggle with my cat. He curled up in my lap and that was it. I just stared at the bathroom cabinet and just allowed myself to just be in a state of presence, just be. And you guys know me. I tend to be a workaholic. I tend to be, productive. I'm always doing something. I'm always doing something for the business. I'm always doing something for the collective. These past couple of days, these past couple of weeks, I just can't. And it's because I'm just being called to just be and surrender. And that surrender, you have to slow down to speed up sometimes. That surrender is what creates the momentum for more. It's what makes room in the energy field for more. Because you're getting rid of all the soul sludge. You're getting rid of all the junk energy. You're getting rid of all, if we're using the computer analogy, right? You're cleaning up your computer. You're cleaning up your operating system. You're getting rid of all the files that don't serve anymore. And so right now it might look like a blank screen as the little progress bar is going 15%, 20%, 25%. It might be taking a little bit of time, but there's still stuff that's going on underneath the surface. That might be making you feel a little bit flighty, but also take your time with that. Ground your energy. Allow yourself to just be where you're called to be. All right, let's see what's happening for the Divine Masculines. Let's see what's happening for the Divine Masculines right now. I haven't even been called to tune into the Divine Masculine energy. My own masculine counterpart has been very present with me, been connecting with his higher self. But again, it's not a call to tune into the energy and see what he's going through. It's just a call to just, acknowledge the love, acknowledge his higher self, acknowledge his presence with me always. That's part of the inner union, right? And just be. I don't have another word, just be. Just being in that energetic state of presence. So I don't even know what's going on for the Divine Masculines. Let's take a look together and see what's going on for the Divine Masculines. What's going on for the Divine? This could be your inner masculine. Don't forget, that's the inner union energy. You can take the masculine energy for your inner masculine as well. Could be for your counterpart to understand and have compassion for what they're going through with their ascension, or it could be the global collective masculine energies. But let's take a look. What's going on for the Divine Masculine, please? They're in an inner state as well, which is interesting. We have the card Sanctuary that flew out. I want to take... They might be in a little bit of hermit energy. You guys might be mirroring each other. And it's interesting because it feels almost like, mirroring because you're in a state of balance within yourself. Again, if this is your inner masculine, then this might be you grounding that stability, that safety, that presence within yourself as your inner masculine, and finding that safety, finding the security within you, not externally. And that's what this journey really teaches us. It teaches us not to seek externally for anything, but to find that within ourselves. And your counterpart, your union is part of you, is within you. It's not outside of you. And that's what we're learning on this journey, or we have learned, or we are still in the process of integrating, is that your union is not external. It happens first within. Your union is energetic first and foremost. Your connection with your counterpart is spiritual first and foremost. It's not outside of you. And so you might be going through this process where you're feeling both the masculine and the feminine energy because you're anchoring into that inner union, which will then create a physical union, which will then bring in a physical counterpart, in a physical relationship, in a connection, in an external person. But this is all inner union energies right now, that I'm feeling, and that is what creates the outer union. But we can't skip a step. We can't go right to the external and forget about the inner. This is inner union that's anchoring in. And again, they're bringing me June. I keep feeling June as a pivotal turning point. I feel like June, what I'm hearing is that by June, in June, we're going to be experiencing a lot of integration and anchoring in of the inner unions. And I feel like by September, we're going to be experiencing that in physical manifestation. So you might either be experiencing more communication, more committed relationship, more contact with a physical counterpart in an external union around September, and it feels committed. It feels, so if you're in contact with your person right now, there might be some in and out going on, very different from the beginning of your journey, very different from the first part of your journey, the healing part of your journey, where there was in and out and triggers because of the in and out. You're not there anymore. And if you are there, then I would suggest taking a look at some previous readings, some previous channelings. We have a whole playlist going back years, and see what resonates for you. But if you're resonating with where we are collectively reading right now, then it's because you have been anchoring in that inner union. And in the process of inner union, you might experience some in and out energy, but it's not triggering the abandonment wound. It's not triggering the rejection wound. It's not triggering neglect. It's not triggering those core wounds because you have cleared those. You have healed those. Now, there might still be pinpricks. There might still be threads. There might still be stuff that comes up. But you're able to transmute it more easily because you're more conscious of it. So you're able to work through it more easily so that it doesn't affect you. So when you are in the process of coming into union within yourself, you might have more interaction with your counterpart, at kind of like a check-in to see, like, are our energies aligned? You might have a recalibration too. That's what happens too, is when you come into physical contact with your counterpart, it's like you're checking in on the shared energy. It's like you're saying to each other, what have you learned? What have I learned? What have we learned together? And like your energy is exchanged. The chakras are balancing out, and then you might go to your separate corners again for more learning, more healing, more growth, whatever, more embodiment, so that when you come back again, the separation is less and less because you are integrating more and more. You're aligning more and more. I go into this in the reunion reconciliation channeling. I'll put that link in the description box for those of you who are in the state of union, especially in contact with your counterpart. But if you're not in contact with your counterpart, it doesn't mean that you're not coming into union. It just means you're maybe on a different path. Maybe you have experienced so much karma together in your cycles, in your unions, because even if you are considered twin flames, counterparts, sacred partners, whatever word you use, if you have been experiencing this journey with each other, you can create your own karmic cycles, even while you're clearing karmic cycles. That's why separation is important, because that way you're not perpetuating karma that is not brought up from you two. Let me put it this way. While you're clearing karma together, which is part of the purpose of this journey, part of the purpose of you coming together to help clear karma together, through that energy of unconditional love, if you're not aware of the journey, if you're in a state of unconsciousness, or one of you is in a state of unconsciousness about this connection, what can happen is you can perpetuate the karma that is not with each other. For example, if somebody has a past relationship or past trauma, you're projecting that onto each other, and that perpetuates its own karmic cycle. That's what I'm trying to say. So separation can be a healthy thing, so that you're not perpetuating that projection, so that you're not perpetuating that karmic cycle or creating a karmic cycle between you two, so that you're healing the karma on your own as is necessary. So what's happening is you might be coming together, spending some time apart, coming together, spending some time apart, or you might be in continued no contact, but feeling the union energies. You might be feeling the energy of your masculine in a healed state, in a balanced state, in a sacred state. And it's because there is this inner union process that is happening, this growth process that is happening for both of you, this transformation that's happening for both of you, consciousness shift. And what happens is that then creates the outer union, or leads the way, paves the path for the outer union. So what I feel is happening for the divine masculine, bringing it back to the divine masculine, is I feel like they are finding that sanctuary within themselves, finding their balance, finding their strength, finding their own courage, rather than seeking outside of themselves for that, which is exactly what you've been doing, divine feminine, exactly the purpose of this journey, right? Not seeking externally for anything, but recognizing again that the union is always within you. It's not because your physical counterpart is out there, and so you're seeking a relationship out there because that's where your counterpart is. Your counterpart is part of you. Your union is part of you. Your connection is part of you. Start nurturing that within yourself. That's what I feel the divine masculine is doing. I feel like the divine masculine is in a hermit mode right now. They might be withdrawn. They might be spending some time alone on their own, or at the very least, they might be spending a lot of time internally. I'm seeing journaling, I'm seeing writing. They might be writing letters to you, but they're not sending them, or like text messages to you, but they're not sending them. But that's because it's a way that they're able to process their emotions. It's not for the communication, it's not for that to be sent, it's for them to process how it is that they're feeling. Divine feminines, we've said that about you as well. You don't have to outwardly communicate anything to your divine masculine. I mean, let's put it into context. Yes, communication, verbal communication, physical communication is important when you have an actual relationship with that person. You have to communicate with each other. That is one of the core tenets of an intimate relationship. But when you're in the spiritual connection, remember, it's all energy. Energy first. And so what is it that you're feeling? What is it that you feel like you need to communicate? Sit with that energy. Allow yourself to express that to yourself. Allow yourself to journal. Allow yourself to write it out first and see if the energy shifts. I just had a client I was coaching, and she shared that she wanted to write a letter to her counterpart. And I said, sit with it first. Sit with it. Express yourself. Say everything that you need to say, but sit with it and see how the energy changes when you come back to it. It doesn't have to be long, it could be a couple of hours, but see how the energy changes, because first and foremost, you're expressing that to yourself. And she shared with me that she did just that. And she said she didn't even have to send anything, and the energy changed. She said that somebody had I think she said somebody had shared exactly what she had wanted to say in the letter, in that communication. It's all energy. It is all energy. So I feel like the divine masculine is in that place of, I don't feel like they're recognizing that it's all energy. I don't feel like they have the awareness of that, but I feel like they're going through the motions of that. Remember, masculine energy is very physically present. The masculines, they play things out. They act things out in the physical. How do I say this? Divine feminines, she's able to see the energy and just shift the energy or transmute the energy without actually having to play things out or act things out in the physical. The divine masculines, they work through the physical. So they will have experiences, for example. That's how they learn, that's how they grow. So they might be actually doing the physical act of writing or journaling or shadow work or whatever it is that they're doing. There's an internal process that's happening for them. And so they're in this kind of internal bubble, this internal sanctuary right now. Let's get a little bit more for the divine masculine. See if there's anything a little bit more for the divine masculine. What else is the divine masculine going through right now? Even this image of this unicorn feels a little bit kind of like that stasis energy. Again, you guys might be mirroring. This might be you as a whole. So take this reading as it resonates for you for support for your journey. But even this masculine feels like he's kind of not frozen. It doesn't feel like frozen. It doesn't feel numb. It just feels like present. Look at this. They just called me to this. Look how similar this is. It's this patience energy. There's a process that's undergoing right now. There's an observer energy, a witnessing energy, witnessing yourself, observing yourself, becoming conscious of yourself. You see how the unicorn is just at a standstill here, observing the cosmos, observing the universe itself. Same energy here for the masculine. He's not active. He's not doing anything. He's just kind of sitting. And again, it's not a passive energy, but it's an internal process that's happening right now for the divine masculine. It's a very interesting energy. I don't feel like the masculine is passive like the feminine is. I don't feel like he's being called to sit so still like the divine feminine is. I feel like the masculine is much more active, but it's still an internal process. I feel like he's actively writing, actively journaling, maybe actively communicating with a therapist or a counselor, maybe actively doing some kind of healing or growth work, actively listening to podcasts or something that's developing him, something that's shifting his consciousness too. It's very interesting energy. All right, anything else for the divine masculine? We're going to get some tarot. Let's see if there's a union energy here. First, what do we need to know for the union energy between the two? Trust. Yeah, trust the process. You're on the brink of a breakthrough. Both of you. That's this inner union. Again, you can take this for yourself as a whole, your inner masculine, your inner feminine. You can take this for your counterpart connection, as in like your actual relationship, your physical relationship. You can take this as the global collective, but you're being called to trust. You're being called to trust the process. You're on the brink of a breakthrough, and right now it feels like you're testing out your own wings. That's what this embodiment energy feels like. It feels like you're kind of shifting into a new way of being, a new way of embodying. Again, that blank computer screen, there's a lot that's upgrading underneath the surface, but can you trust the uncertainty? Can you sit in the uncertainty for now? Can you sit in the silence? Can you sit in the presence of yourself? Can you trust that? Because what that's doing is it's helping you test your own wings. What are those wings? Those wings are wings of faith. Those wings are wings of trust. Those wings are wings of embodiment that's going to help you soar. So you're just kind of testing that out right now. You're headed for a breakthrough. This is going to lead to a breakthrough, and I'm feeling June energy. June energy is coming through very, very strongly as far as the shift in consciousness, which is going to manifest into your physical world in some way. Let's get some tarot. Yeah, let's use this deck. Let's get some tarot and see what might be specifically happening for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Let's start with the divine masculine and get a little bit more for them. What's going on for the divine masculine right now, please? What's going on for the divine masculine? Yep. You see this? You see on the edge of the cliff here, testing your wings? I feel like the divine masculine is going through doesn't feel like a dark night of the soul. Just like your void, divine feminine, doesn't feel like a void. It doesn't feel like you're absent of anything. You're lacking anything. You're not. But you might still be in a little bit of a void energy. That's because I feel like the divine masculine's in a little bit of a dark night of the soul, but it doesn't feel like a dark night of the soul. It feels like they might just be questioning themselves because they are upgrading, because they are up-leveling, because they're having their own shift in consciousness. As you're having a shift in consciousness, they're having a breakthrough, they're having a shift in consciousness. That's just how it works. And so I feel like they're going through their own breakthrough, they're going through their own journey, their own ascension. I feel there's a ton of mirroring that's happening here too. I feel like they might just be doubting themselves, questioning themselves. Am I worthy? Can I have something new? Can I have a new life? Remember, the divine masculines, one of their core wounds is feeling like they're not worthy, feeling like they don't deserve. You've mirrored this at one point, divine feminine, but this is a core wound for the divine masculine, especially considering the patriarchy, especially considering how masculine energy has been treated. They haven't been seen as the sensitive souls that they are. They haven't been seen as the deeply loving, kind energies that they are. And because of that, a lot of masculine energy has moved into toxic masculinity to make up for that, to kind of hide their wounds, to hide their hurt, to hide their pain. And it looks very toxic. It looks like toxic masculinity, but what's underneath the surface of toxic masculinity? It is pain. It is hurt. It is wounding, right? And so I feel like they have been uncovering all of this. They might be going through their own life, and kind of in a retrospective, I'm seeing like a kind of nostalgic, but like at a retrospective, how have I brought myself here? Wanting a change, wanting to be something different, wanting to lead a different life. But with the Fool card, they're having some doubts as far as whether they're capable of it. They are. That's part of this process that they're internally going through, learning how to trust themselves. Divine Feminine, you're kind of learning how to trust the universe and have faith in where you are, trust the uncertainty. The Divine Masculine is learning how to trust themselves. You've already trusted yourself, Divine Feminine. You trust yourself. That's been the crux of your journey. The Divine Masculine here is learning how to trust themselves, to rely on themselves, to have faith in themselves. And so I feel like there's a little bit of doubt that's coming through here as they're getting ready to embark on a new life. They've energetically birthed a new life, but they might not be having full faith or trust that they are capable of manifesting that in the physical. Not quite manifesting that, of taking action on that. They might be a little bit fearful of, what does that mean? That means maybe I have to start over in my job or my career. Maybe I have to start over in my relationships. Maybe I have to do some healing, some mending of my relationships. Maybe I have to start over with my finances. Starting over, that's what this feels like. And starting over can be scary because it means a new life. It means a new way of doing things. It means new habits, new behaviors, new mindsets. That's what they're fearful of right now. That's what they're doubting. They've gone through this rebirth. Remember, a couple of months ago, we shared that they were in this kind of like cosmic egg energy, and swirling around them were all these light codes, new ways of being, new energies, right? Now I feel like they've broken free from that. They've given birth to a new version of themselves, and they're feeling that energetic shift within themselves. But it's like, okay, how do I create that in my physical world? How does that show up in my physical world? Again, it's a new energy. They have to, maybe new job, new environment, new location, new relationships, or a new way of doing relationships. It's new. Everything is new. Because everything is new, everything's a little bit uncertain for them. There's a little bit of fearful energy here. And it's about finding the courage and trust within themselves to take that leap for the new. The old version of themselves, gone. They don't want to be stuck in that old energy anymore. They won't allow that. They're not that old energy anymore. But they're too in an in-between state of, I'm not in that new energy anymore, but I know I'm creating something new, but what does that look like? How does that be? Yeah. The Hierophant, we have the Two of Pentacles, we have the Six of Swords. I'm going to take two. The Hierophant, for me, is a higher level of ascension card, a higher level of consciousness, going through your ascension so that you are moving beyond what you knew, moving beyond the tradition, moving beyond conformity, beyond the status quo, beyond even what you expected of yourself, or what you thought you knew about life, or what you knew about yourself. Moving beyond that into a higher state of awareness, into greater balance, into greater, I'm hearing the word simplicity with the Six of Swords energy. The Six of Swords is the energy of calmer waters, moving away from the conflict of the past, the internal conflict, from the 5 to the 6. The 5 historically for me has been this energy of imbalance, a conflict between the mind and the heart. We channeled the 5 of Swords in the past couple of readings, where the 5 of Swords was this energy of, yes, I've won this battle over myself, but now I'm looking at the ruins of my life and what I created for my life, and it's like, how did I get here? That's where the Divine Masculine has been. How did I get here? Well, now they're in the state of this rebirth. This in the state of, okay, this is where I've been. This is where I am. But how do I get to where I want to go? How do I create this new life for myself? These new behaviors, these new habits, this new mindset. How do I actually create the life that I want? healthy relationships, with healthy finances, stable finances, not clinging to, healthy finances, the Four of Pentacles, not clinging to the past, not clinging to the ways that I was doing things because I thought that's how it was supposed to be, because that's all I knew. That's where they've created that conflict within themselves. And now they've broken free from that. Things are much more simple. Things are much more calm. They're finding that balance within themselves to move into a calmer way of being, a more simple way of being, a more simple way of loving. But it's like, what does that look like? And again, in the past couple of readings, we've talked about how they have looked around their life and see, almost like the ruins of their life. How did I get here? How did I get here where, I was so focused on my finances that I neglected my relationships? Or I was so focused on my work that I neglected myself? Or I was so focused on my what I thought I needed to be doing on my mission that I didn't realize that, hey, I was actually creating my mission or living my mission just by loving, just by being. Whatever it is, whatever specific scenario it is. I'm getting very abstract here because it's going to resonate with people in a lot of different ways. Now they're in this place of recognizing that they can and need to do things differently in their life. But there's a little bit of uncertainty. There's a little bit of I need the courage to do that. I need to learn how to trust myself, that I'm capable of having everything that I want, creating everything that I want, living the life that I want, not the way that I was living it in the past, which was so destructive, self-sabotaging, but in a new way, in a beautiful way, in a harmonious way, in a stable way, in a committed way. Beautiful. What's going on for the Divine Feminines? Yep, that's exactly where you are, Divine Feminine. It's a Temperance card. Temperance is all about balance. It's all about even this energy of moderation, taking time to be, taking time to balance, taking time to ground, taking time to find this sense of balance is the only word that I know, this sense of harmony within oneself. That's this Temperance card. That's where you are right now. Things are going to be flowing again. Things are going to be moving again. It's not that they are not moving. It's just you're in this place of just being. This place of being. Taking time for yourself. Again, temperance, moderation, balance. Taking time for yourself rather than pushing ahead, forcing things ahead. Just allowing yourself to be. You're still active. You're still doing. But step by step by step. Not rushing ahead of anything. Divine Feminines, yep, you are in the process of creating that Ten of Pentacles. What did I say? From slowing down to speed up, from this place of balance, from this place of patience, from even this place of stasis that you might find yourself in, you're going to be creating more. There's more manifestations that are coming in. It's because you're learning how to embody the energy rather than just consciously knowing it. You're leveling up in this consciousness shift where you're going to be embodying more, shifting out of old beliefs. You've already been doing that intellectually, but now it's all about the embodiment. How am I embodying this new energy to create the Ten of Pentacles, to create everything that I want? We have the Page of Pentacles and we have the Page of Cups. Yeah, Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles. Tangible, making the ideas tangible, making something tangible. Making your dreams, your wishes, your hopes a tangible reality. That's what's beginning here. That's what's beginning here. And the Four of Wands as well, again, at the bottom of the deck, you have that for the masculine. It's stable, it's committed, it is grounded. This is believing in your Ten of Pentacles. Not just as a Ten of Cups, wishful thinking kind of energy, a fantasy kind of energy. This is making it a physical reality. This is anchoring that in so that you know, hey, this is what my journey has been for, recognizing that I'm the creator of my reality. I can manifest. I can embody this new energy. I'm just getting pointed to the butterflies here. You're in a chrysalis right now. You're in a cocoon. And this might feel like a pressure cooker sometimes. And that's where you're being called to have patience. It might feel kind of like you're wanting to break free, but it's almost like what I'm seeing is like the membrane isn't breaking open yet because you're being called to just wait a little bit longer. You're going to break free. You're going to be flying here. Very shortly, you're going to have these manifestations of everything that you want. And so it might feel a bit like you're feeling kind of pressured, like you feel very uncomfortable in this cocoon, because it's like, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, let's go. And the universe is saying, just wait, just temper that energy a little bit, just wait, just balance out a little bit more. There's a breakthrough that's happening, and you can feel the anticipation of this breakthrough. You can feel this consciousness shift. You can feel the energy of everything manifesting around you. But it's like you want to break free, but the membrane isn't breaking open yet. And that's because the universe is kind of like saying, just wait, you're not done yet. Just wait. There's more that is happening underneath the surface that you're not aware of. And if you break open too soon, you might not be able to spread your wings as fully as you want to. So just have that patience. Have that patience. You're still kind of going through this process, but it's going to break you through. It's going to break you through, and it can happen in an instant. It can happen in an instant. When we're talking about time, we're not talking linear time. It can happen in an instant, but the energy of this is that there's still some stuff that is manifesting. There's still some stuff that is marinating. So just allow yourself to be. There's a purpose for the being. Trust in the purpose for the being, even if it's uncertain, even if you don't know what it is just yet. Just trust in where you're being led, where you're being guided. Okay, union energies. I want to see what's going on for the union energies, please. Between the masculine and the feminine, the union energies. Yep, that's... And we have the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. If that's not indicative of this reading, I don't know what is. The universe is saying, have patience. The seeds that you are planting, they're still growing. They're still growing. Seeds grow in the dark, right? That's kind of where we are right now. We're in the dark. But have faith. Have faith that the wheel is still turning. Have faith that destiny is still taking root. Have faith that the universe is still moving, that the energy is still moving. Have faith. Trust in this process. It is a process. Don't rush it. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Be very present. Learn how to be present, because that is where the magic and the miracles happen. Okay. I'm going to leave this here. I think we're going to try to... What day is it? I think we're going to try to come back in a day or two for another update and just kind of go a couple layers deeper and see how might you be feeling about each other, how are you feeling about the connection. I really just wanted to tune into the energies and see what's going on with this stasis kind of energy, this void that's not lacking anything kind of energy, this void that's not a void, this dark night that's not a dark night, just to kind of see what's going on here. But we'll come back and go a little bit deeper in a upcoming reading. So make sure that you are staying tuned for the title and cover reveal of my book, and you can learn how you can be part of our inclusive launch. I'm very excited for that. So make sure that you are staying tuned. I am sending you all so much love and so much light.